to come share with us on Vocation. So we want to welcome you. Oh, Kim. I'm sorry, I didn't say your name. Kim Brown, who's the directress of Christian Renewal Center, but she's our parishioner first. Welcome, Kim.
All right, so second collection has already happened, so I'm not talking about the CRC. As he said, I'm a parishioner here, and I'm part of the St. Mary's Vocations Committee. The St. Mary's Vocations Committee mission is to help our parishioners with their awareness of their personal vocation and the call that they have to holiness through that vocation. So what is a vocation? The word vocation literally means calling. It's your calling by God, right? Vocation in the Catholic tradition is more than your career or ministry. It's who God has called you to be, and it is your path to holiness. Holiness is union with God, and we strive for that holiness through our vocation. So what are possible vocations? For men, you have the Archdiocese and priesthood. For women, we have where you can become a religious sister or nun. For men, you can also become a religious brother, friar, monk, or priest. We also have consecrated virgins for women. We also have hermits for men and women. We also have the vocation of committed single for men or women. So as we look at all these potential vocations, the majority of you are currently married. That is your vocation, and that is your path to holiness. The same way that Father John, his priesthood, is his path to holiness. So what is it for someone who's trying to discern a vocation to the religious life, and if you've never seen religious life? That can be very difficult to discern a vocation if you've never seen it modeled or lived. So what can we do as a parish community about that? What I would encourage you to do is if you're traveling and you have young kids, and I don't care how young you start them, if you're traveling on vacation, look in that area to see, is there a monastery or a convent in that area that we can go and visit? They're happy to let people come and pray with them for Liturgy of the Hours or for the celebration of the Mass. This is a great way to start exposing people to the various vocations in the church. So I would encourage you to look for those opportunities this summer as you're traveling. Religious men and women, they make vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience. This is living what's called the evangelical counsels as Jesus Christ himself lived these counsels. So when they live these counsels with poverty, chastity, and obedience, they're not saying no to something. They're really saying yes to something that is truly great. They're saying yes to God. They're giving all of themselves to God. The church teaches that religious men and women, they live the way that we are all called to live when we go to heaven someday. But religious men and women begin living that today. They're called an eschatological sign. So what are 4 steps for discernment? This is something that you can do if you're discerning your vocation, but there are also good spiritual practices for every single person in this room living your vocation currently. 1 is to free yourself from sin and the attachment of sin, okay? So freeing ourselves from sin means we go to confession. 2, having a daily meditative prayer life. If you want to know God's will for your life, you have to spend time in prayer to hear his will for your life. 3, get a spiritual director. A spiritual director specifically for someone discerning their vocation that knows religious communities, discernment, and the process of a vocation. And 4, spending time with the Blessed Sacrament. These steps for discernment can help you as you grow to know what is God's will for your life. Today at the back of the church in the foyer, we have a table for vocations. All of us play a part in increasing vocations. A Catholic culture has vocations to the priesthood and religious life. Marriages, holy families, create the groundwork that's necessary for those vocations to flourish. We all have a role to play in this. So at the back of the church in the foyer, we have a sign up that you can go and sign up to take home the vocation cross. Every day, men and women at this parish are praying for our vocations from this community. And you can sign up to take home the vocation cross for a month, you and your family, to pray for those vocations. For the young people here, the St. Mary's Vocations Committee wants to help you discern. We have this book called How to Discover Your Vocation, and it talks about all the vocations in the Catholic Church. And so this book is a great one to start with, to read, to learn, and to discover various vocations. So at the vocations table, we have these books for you to take home as well. So I would encourage you to pick one of those up. So we really want to encourage all of us at this parish to become very mission-minded. We are called to holiness, and our path to holiness is through our vocation. Let us each live the vocation that God has planned for us. We should not be afraid to follow God's plan for our life. If we live the vocation that He has called us to, we will have more joy, peace, and happiness than anything the world can ever offer. So I encourage you to live your vocation. If you don't know your vocation yet, start the process of discernment so that you can know what God's will for your life is. He created you for this time and place in history, so trust in that.
Thank you, Kim.